Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Please click the subscribe button and click the bell icon and never miss another update from Almighty Java.
In this video, we are going to see basics about Hystrix, but after this video, you will get enough idea about Hystrix. In detail explanation, we will create one more video in the future about Hystrix. Let's search for Hystrix. Open first link. One important thing, Hystrix is no longer in active development and is currently in maintenance mode. That doesn't mean that we should not learn or nobody is using nowadays. Introduction. Hystrix is a latency and fault tolerance library designed to isolate points of access to remote systems, services, and third-party libraries, stop cascading failure and enable resilience in complex distributed systems where failure is inevitable. For full documentation, let's click on the wiki link, and for API let's click on Java doc link. For open issues, you can check their Google group or Twitter group or GitHub issues. What does it do? Latency and fault tolerance, real-time operations, concurrency. Here are some example. I am not going in detail, I am just showing you, so if you want you can explore yourself. Now open Hystrix wiki page. What is Hystrix? In a distributed environment, inevitably some of the many service dependencies will fail. Hystrix is a library that helps you control the interactions between these distributed services by adding latency tolerance and fault tolerance logic. What is Hystrix for? Give protection from and control over latency and failure from dependencies accessed via third-party client libraries. Stop failures in a complex distributed system. Fail fast and rapidly recover. Fallback and gracefully degrade when possible. Enable real-time monitoring, alerting, and operational control. What problem does Hystrix solve? Applications in complex distributed architectures have dozens of dependencies, each of which will inevitably fail at some point. If the host application is not isolated from these external failures, it risks being taken down with them. When everything is healthy, the request flow can look like this. When one of many backend systems becomes latent, it can block the entire user request. How does Hystrix accomplish its goals? Using fallback logic using Hystrix command. See, here is the Java doc for Hystrix, which is provided by Netflix. Hystrix, latency and fault tolerance for distributed systems. Here is the package list. Now search for Hystrix Spring. Open first link. Here you can find all the required steps on how to integrate Hystrix with Spring. Open the second link as well. Circuit Breaker, Hystrix client. Netflix has created a library called Hystrix that implements the circuit breaker pattern. In a microservice architecture, it is common to have multiple layers of service calls, microservice graph. This we can achieve by Hystrix dashboard. We will see at the end. A service failure in the lower level of services can cause cascading failure up to the user. Hystrix fallback prevents cascading failures. C4 requests are coming for API from different sources. But unfortunately service B is down, so we can add fallback logic. So instead of giving connection exception, this fallback logic will handle this scenario and returns an appropriate message. How to include Hystrix? First, need to add enable circuit breaker annotation. Then using Hystrix command we can add fallback logic also. We will see all this, just wait and watch till the end. Health indicator. Hystrix metrics stream. By using this property we can see the activity by using the graph in Hystrix dashboard. Then need to add actuator dependency also. Click on next. Circuit breaker, Hystrix dashboard. Hystrix dashboard look like this image. There is one more way we can handle Hystrix fallback. Insert add OpenFain also. Open first link. So when we don't want to use Hystrix command and want to handle fallback logic using OpenFain, then here is the solution. Feign client annotation. We can add fallback also, and for that create a new class and implements feign interface. We will see this approach also. For more info, you can check out this page. If you are following our Spring Boot microservices videos, if not, then please watch those, will help you to continue this video. If yes, then you knew that we created 1 Eureka server and 3 Eureka client. See, now all are up and running on 8001, 8002 and 8003 port, and 8002 is making REST call with 8003 and 8001 is making REST call with 8002. So here you can see 8001 responses including 8002 and 8003 response as well. Similarly, 8002 is including 8003 response. I hope you got the idea behind this, and they are communication using Feign client. Before adding any changes, first, let's read this value and URL from a properties file. Let's add 2 properties, one for name and other for URL. Now instead of the direct value, we will use this key. See, it's simple. Now save the changes and wait for restart Eureka Client 1. Let's check now Eureka Client 1 is working or not. See, it's working. Now let's add similar changes for Eureka Client 2 as well. That's it. Now save the changes and wait for restart Eureka Client 2. See, it's working fine. Now let's stop the Eureka Client 3 project. Server stopped. Let's refresh the Eureka server. See, from here 8003 is removed from the registered list. Let's refresh 8003. See, it's not working, giving connection issue. Now let's refresh 8002. See, it's giving connection exception. Now let's refresh 8001. See, it's giving 500 internal server error. So now what we want is, like, instead of giving exception, it should handle this scenario and give some error message so the end user can easily understand that some service is down. First, let's add Hystrix dependency. Hystrix provided by Netflix. That's it for POM XML file. Now we need to add some Hystrix related properties like fetch registry false and feign Hystrix enabled true. That's it for the properties file. Now open application class. Add enable circuit breaker annotation. That's it for the application class. Now open my Feign client interface. Let's add fallback also. Now we need to create a class. Let's say my Feign client fallback IMPL. Now in fallback you can mention the newly created class name. Now this class will implement my Feign client interface. Now add an implemented method. Annotate this class as a component. Now copy this JSON response and paste inside fallback method. Now instead of remote service call put some dummy message like 8003 is down. That's it. Now first stop 8002 and let's run again. Server started. C8002 is up and running. C8003 is still unavailable. Let's refresh 8002. See, instead of throwing exception now it's giving some message. Now let's refresh 8001 also. See here for 8003 it is including fallback response. I hope you got some idea about Hystrix and how to implement fallback using OpenFame. Let's quickly review whatever we added. I hope you understood this approach. Now let's stop the server for 8002 also. See, now only 8001 is up and running. Now refresh 8002. See, it's not working. Now refresh 8001. See, 8001 is giving connection exception now. Let's stop the server for 8001 and let's add fallback logic using Hystrix command. Copy this dependency and paste it in Eureka Client 1 POM XML file. Copy these properties and paste it in Eureka Client 1 Application Properties file. Add Enable Circuit Breaker annotation in the application class. Add Enable Hystrix annotation also. See, this is method and to get message 2 is trying to communicate with Eureka Client 2, but now Eureka Client 2 is down. So for home method add Hystrix command annotation and for fallback method we will use home fallback method. Now let's copy this method and change method name to home fallback. And for message 2 put some dummy message. That's it. Let's start the server for Eureka Client 1. Server started. See it listed in the instances list. Now let's refresh 8001. See it is working now, even 8002 is down, that means Hystrix fallback logic is working as expected. Let's quickly review whatever we added. I hope you understood this approach also. Now let's start Eureka Client 2 and see what does it make a difference. See it listed in the instances list. See 8001 still giving the same message, because 8003 is still down. 8002 is working, even 8003 is down, that means OpenFame fallback logic is working as expected. Now let's start Eureka Client 3. See it listed in the instances list. All 3 instances are up and running. See 8003 is working. 8002 also back to normal. 8001 also back to normal. Now let's see how to enable Hystrix dashboard. First, let's add Hystrix dashboard dependency. Along with that, we need to add actuator dependency also. Copy both the dependencies and paste it in Eureka Client 2 POM XML file. Now in application class, we need to add one more annotation called Enable Hystrix Dashboard. Add same in other application class also. Now we need to add one property in the application properties file. Here is the property. Copy same and paste it. Now all set to go. Let's stop and restart all the server. Eureka Client 3 and 2 started. Let's open Hystrix dashboard for 8002. 8002 is working. In URL append Hystrix also. See Hystrix dashboard opened successfully. Now try single Hystrix app URL. Here replace app and post with localhost 8002. Click on monitor stream. It's unable to connect. See Eureka Client 1 also started. Let's follow the same steps for Eureka Client 1. See, this is also not working. I think we missed something. Let's open POM XML file. See, this actuator is the problem. So instead of this, we must use starter actuator. Use same for Eureka Client 2 also. Now again start all the servers. No server started till now. See, 8001 started. 8001 is working. Let's try Hystrix dashboard for 8001. See, it's working now. Let's refresh this URL multiple times. See, all servers are up and running. See, all are working fine now. Now try Hystrix dashboard for 8002. See, this is also working fine. See here, graph also generating. Let's refresh again a couple of times. Refresh for 8002 also. See, for both the dashboards graph is generating. I hope you got the idea how can we add Hystrix dashboard. I checked in my changes. I will show you from where you can find these. See, here is the repository called Spring Boot Microservices Hystrix. Inside this repository, you can find all the code. See, here are the changes. Like the last video, we have one more project there also. We are communicating using OpenFame. That project I already downloaded from Git. See, here are the two projects. If you are watching our videos, then you knew about these very well. Let's first start Almighty Java project. Server started. Now let's start Book REST API project also. Server started. Let's open in browser. See, it's working. Let's log in. Here password is the password. Let's click on all menu one by one. This book list menu is special because for this it fetches data from Book REST API. See, it is working now. I will show you how that is happening. Open Book Controller class. Here is all the code. See, here is the Bookfane client. This is the URL. Let's open this URL in the browser. See, it's working. Now let's stop this Book REST API server. See, now this URL is not working. Now again click on the book list. But before click on book list, first click on video list. Now click on the book list. See, nothing is happening, because it is throwing connection exception. Now let's handle this scenario using Hystrix. Open our GitHub page. Open our Spring Boot microservices Hystrix repository. Open this Almighty Java MS repository also. Now let's copy Hystrix related code and use an Almighty Java project. First, let's copy the dependency. Now add these properties. Here we have YML file. Just for safe side, let's create application properties file and paste all these properties. Replace these Fane related values. Add these keys in Bookfane client interface. Now add Hystrix related annotation. Now let's add Hystrix command related logic. So when you click on the book list, it calls book list method. So let's create a fallback for the book list. Add Hystrix command annotation. Copy book list method and change method name to book list fallback. Here method signature must not change. And instead of adding books and model, now let's change to an error message like service not available. And instead of redirecting to list page, we will redirect to an error page. If you remember, we tried to achieve the same thing using the Spring retry. Now let's create an error JSP page. Now replace entire content with the message. Now let's start the server. Server started. Log in again. Now click on the book list. See, the message is coming. Previously nothing was happening. See, failed while executing. Now instead of simple message, use some nice HTML. Same thing I already did earlier, so I am going to use the same. Here is the JSP code. Let's copy and paste it. Replace this static message to server message. Copy and paste this message to the controller level. That's it. Server restarted. See, now it is showing properly. Now let's start the server for Book REST API. Now try again. See, not working means not yet started. See, it's working now. Again, stop the server. See, not working. I hope you got the idea. Let's quick review whatever we added. I checked in my changes. I will show you from where you can find these. See, here are the changes. Again, I am telling this is just the basics. There are many things yet to cover. That's it for this video.
Please like and share this video. Subscribe our channel. Thanks for watching.